What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. You may be wondering, why is he broadcasting from his kitchen? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm in the process of relocating not just my office, but since it is a home office, my home as well, from one place to another. Now, I have a new and exciting studio I'm working on, hopefully, if everything pans out, and I'm getting that set up, but it's not ready just yet. So I'm broadcasting from random places in the house. But you know, the phone reviews and the phone fun doesn't stop when we take a move or when we try to switch up our offices. So we just roll with it. So I'm going to roll with the kitchen today. Hope that's okay. Here's the HTC DROID Incredible 2. It's a successor to the HTC DROID Incredible on Verizon. Wildly popular device at that. Came out last year in April, was back ordered, delayed due to the LCD and some of the other things that are in supply constraints, things like that. Here it is, the DROID Incredible 2, the replacement. It has some cool features like global roaming capabilities, a front-facing camera, 8-megapixel camera, which is the same as the other one, but that front-facing camera one, good for video calling, and it also has capacitive buttons that rotate as well. Is this a device for you? On to messaging, so you can see, if you worked with a Thunderbolt, with anything, recently, Thunderbolt, a couple of other recent HTC devices, you'll notice this menu looks pretty familiar. You can toggle between all messages, SMS and MMS, and voicemail. So let's go to all messages. We'll compose just to get an idea of what the keyboard's like. Now, it's a typical HTC Sense keyboard that you may be familiar with, and you can see those buttons rotate. Again, you can use it in portrait and in landscape mode. Now, the benefit here is this one, like I said, jumps up from 3.7-inch display to 4-inch display, making it much easier to type. I've always said that the 4-inch display is a sweet spot between 3.7 and 4.3 inches because it gives those people with larger fingers like myself some room to type without making the device too big. So let's say the quick brown dock, Fox went to the Apple Store to look at the white iPhone 4. Whoops. iPhone 4. The quick brown fox went to the Apple Store to look, well, but look at the white iPhone 4. So that was a comment in the last YouTube video. They said, when's he going to the Apple Store? I said, I don't even remember what I said, but it was some sarcastic response. But he's going to the Apple Store right now, so that's what matters. Quick brown fox is at the Apple Store in Charlotte, so keep that in mind. He's hanging out there for at least 1.5 more minutes. So you can see, very easy to type on, 4-inch display, a nice upgrade from 3.7, but not too large. It's still a device that fits comfortably in the hand. So that said, let's go into messaging, or market rather, and take a look, excuse me, and see the improvements there. Now, if you've had an Android device, you're like, this is the same thing you cover in all your videos, but I really want to show this to people because the Incredible is a nice migration device to me, a device that would bring people from iOS over to Android, or from WebOS over to Android, and that, keeping that group in mind, that demographic in mind, they need to see all the features this device has to offer. So you can see the Android market, the carousel up here that's displaying popular applications. They've updated this relatively recently and made it much more user-friendly to compete with Apple's App Store. So it's a nice application market, and it has a couple of cool features like the ability to allow automatic app updating. So you can check that, and whenever you get an app update, it doesn't bother you with a large, like big 1 or 2 or 3, depending on how many apps you have to update, little box or little circle rather, like the iPhone does. So, it doesn't make you do it yourself every single time. So with that checked, it's easier to go through those. But you can see what it looks like. So let's go to VCast Tones, for example. You can see the description. I'll click on more. Very clean, very organized. Screenshots, sharing, reviews, and then you can use it in landscape mode as well. It's just intended to be more aesthetically pleasing than past versions of the Android market. Now, I can see my apps. I can go in here, see which ones I have installed. And I go to battery life, for example, and we're going to allow automatic updating. So that's how it is done there. Let's go into, actually a couple more things I want to show you on this device. So let's do a quick jump into Gmail just to show it off. Won't spend a lot of time on it, but here's the new Gmail interface. It's been around for a couple months, and you get these, a couple of new features, most notably, in my opinion, the ability to keep the header at the top of the email. So let's go back from that. Let's go to Blur, for example. And once you scroll up, it stays there at the top, so you can always respond without having to go back up to the top of the email. So see, I promised I wouldn't spend too long in there, and I didn't. In my opinion, that was a healthy amount of time. Now, you have some stuff like connected media gallery, and let's take a look while we're thinking about it at the 8-megapixel camera, because I want to see, the quality here, and I'm going to spoil you a little bit, it is a really great picture quality. So let's say, let's take a picture of the Droid Charge. That'll work. And I'm going to come down here at the Verizon logo, and I'm going to focus in, wait for it to focus in. I'm going to take a picture. I mean, absolutely incredible picture quality in my opinion. HTC's always done a good job with their 8 megapixel cameras, from the Evo to the Inspire 4G to the Droid Incredible to the Thunderbolt, and it's no different with the Droid Incredible 2. Now the difference here, let's take a look at the front-facing camera. Let's hop on, oh I'm sorry, that's did the wrong thing. Let's switch camera right there to secondary, and there's Aaron. Hello! And you can see, 1.3 megapixel camera, definitely not making me flattering, or definitely not making me look flattering from that angle. Let me get my chin down there so all 8 of them don't hang out in the camera picture there. But you get the idea, front-facing camera, it's a 1.3 megapixel camera. It's not really going to blow anything out of the water in terms of megapixels or specs in general, but good for video calling, and especially over 3G, the video quality is going to be so bad anyway. I could be wearing pajamas and no one would care. So it's a good addition to the device, and nice to have that. And Skype Mobile, as you saw, was pre-installed on the device down here with Slacker and a couple of others. Let's do a quick quadrant standard test and see. We're going to run the full benchmark. And I'll tell you, I've been working with this device in Charlotte for a couple of days. Call quality's been very good. I've used it more than actually, I wouldn't say more. I've been using it as a primary device, or a close secondary device while I've been moving. It's been a nice little device to test out while I've been moving from one place to the other, and I've been testing, in between the 2 areas in the city that I'm moving to, some new dead spots and things like that. And because I've never, you never know. I mean, there may be new dead spots at all times. It's not like I'm new to this area by any means, but get the idea. And but I'm rambling. And call quality's been very good. There's always a dead spot that I've found in Northeast Charlotte near the university, and the call quality is, while it's pretty choppy, I was able to hold the call. So something to keep in mind. 1,479 on quadrant standard. 1,479. So a decent score. It's not a dual core device by any means, so it's not going to get up there in the 23 to 2500 range like the Atrix 4G or the G2X, but still very respectable. And given that $199 price point, it's certainly a good score indeed. Let's take a look at speed test here and do some speed tests as well. Now, like I said, that's the one downside. It is a 3G only device. And, if Verizon was charging extra for their 4G, I'd say, well, think about it. But right now, at least, they're not. The data plan is the same. You do have to pay more for the device up front, but the data plan is still the same. My idea, future-proof yourself, or at least future-proof yourself for the next 3 weeks, the way cell phones come out, as you know. And, go ahead and go with one of the 4G devices. That said, if you're stuck on this design, you really like it, you really want the successor, hey, it's a good device. I think you'd be very pleased. Let's go to Greensboro, since Charlotte's disappeared one day, and let's test the speeds. I mean, they're not going to be anything impressive. I'd say maybe 1.5 megabits per second. Let's see, about 800 and... Oh, it's measuring kilobits per second, but we'll see here. This is download, 650 kilobits per second roughly. 664 kilobits per second on the download, and then on the upload, low, like 0.2 megabits per second. Let's see here. It's going up 244 kilobits per second. So keep that in mind. This is the type of speed you're going to deal with on a regular basis on Verizon's 3G, and that it is not an SVDO device like the HTC Thunderbolt. Verizon historically hasn't been able to do voice and data. The Thunderbolt kind of broke that mold, even though they're not advertising it. Not the case with this one, at least right now. Whenever I try to initiate a voice call, the data does die. So keep that in mind. 664 kilobits per second on the download. So all in all, I think it's a very good device. I like the build quality. I'm really impressed with it. It's been 720p video recording's been pretty decent. You can check out the site for the post on that if you'd like to see it. And it works well as a phone to boot. I'm going to jump into, just so you can see, jump into the phone here. I'm going to delete this one number that I called. Give me 1 second here. And so you can see, typical HTC look here, look and feel. And then you have your typical Sense 2.0 look and feel up here with the apps, you know, the recently opened apps. So a familiar feel for HTC people, a nice device for people to migrate into for maybe a feature phone or another smartphone platform. It's all in all a good device, and you know, it's right there at that $199 price point that people are already familiar with. So if I had to choose between a 3G device, I'd choose this. I think it's a great phone as well. Call quality's been very good. Signal strength has been very good. Speakerphone has been good as well. So, and good. Just good all in a row, apparently, according to the way I said it. But you know, you get the idea. It is very good when it comes to call stuff. Which, hey, that's what a phone's for, isn't it? Who knows in today's day? Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage on the HTC DROID Incredible 2. In the meantime, be sure to like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We're giving away a bunch of iPad 2s, a bunch of smartphones as part of our colossal iPad 2 and smartphone sweepstakes. So head over to the page, like us, enter the sweepstakes for more information. And you know, if you have any questions about it or about the phone or anything, be sure to follow me on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron and hit me up with those questions. I'll do my best to respond. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know, like I said, jump on Twitter, let me know, did you get one of these? You holding out for something else? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.